Okay, little change of plans. I was supposed to be heading to the hospital I was supposed to be at the hospital at 6 this morning to get induced, but it is 3:45 right now and I can't handle it anymore. My contractions started at 2 o'clock this morning, woke me up, and they've just been getting like more and more intense. And when I was tracking them, they were 7 minutes apart, but I don't know what they are right now. At 2 o'clock, he was like super active, like he was going crazy, and those contractions didn't hurt. And then they just kept getting more and more intense, but he was being super active. And anyway, I feel like I have to poop, and there was like mucus, like bloody mucus coming out. But that's all the update for now. We're headed to the hospital.
So unfortunately, that was the only vlog footage that I got of my entire labor and delivery. I was so bummed, but y'all, I was in so much pain, and my labor and delivery went by so fast that I didn't have a chance to pull my phone out and update you guys and get any footage, because it was really fast and really painful. So I wanted to sit down with you guys and talk through my birth story. I wanted to fill you guys in, but also just have a memory to keep on to of Brooks's labor and delivery story. So let's jump into it. Brooks's due date was January 28th, and my plan was that if he had not come on his own by his due date, then I was going to get induced on the 29th at 6 a.m. So the 28th was a Tuesday, and he had not come on his own, so we were planning on going through with the induction. So Tuesday evening, we dropped Riley off, my 2-year-old daughter. We dropped her off at my parents' house, and we had dinner with them, and then Mike and I snuck out of there and came home. We did all the last minute things. The house looked immaculate. All the bags were packed by the front door. I was able to shower and do my hair and have everything set and ready for our induction for the next morning. So after we got all of our things done, Mike and I sat on the couch and we watched Jackass 3. And previously, for the past few weeks, I did almost everything that the wives' tales say to help induce labor. I ate so much pineapple. I lived on the exercise ball. We had so much sex, like everything. And obviously it all helped, but nothing put me into labor. But I honestly, seriously think with God's timing and Jackass 3, it put me into labor on my own. We laughed so hard at that movie. I don't think I've laughed that hard in such a long time. So I am proud to say that Jackass 3 put me into labor. So funny. We went to bed and we fell asleep right around 12 o'clock. And at 2 o'clock, I woke up with some like Braxton Hicks contractions, what I thought were Braxton Hicks contractions. So I was just laying there. They weren't painful at all. But I was laying there. I was excited for my alarm to go off at 5 a.m. So I was just kind of like laying there, just thinking about life. And then I just kind of noticed that like my contractions were like kind of regular and like kind of close together. So I started to track them on my phone. And after a few, I noticed that it said to get to the hospital. But they weren't painful. And my doctor said to come to the hospital when you want to hurt your husband. That's when you go to the hospital. So I was like, I'm not in any pain. I'll just kind of let it ride. We have to go to the hospital and get up and go in 3 hours anyway. So, anyway, I just tried to, like, disregard it. And then I got up to go pee, and I noticed some, blood. So, I was like, maybe I should wake Mike up. And then at that point, the contractions started to feel like period cramps, and then they just got really intense really fast. So, within the whole hour of 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I was in a lot of pain towards the end. So I woke him up. I realized like, okay, this is happening. Like, this is painful. I can't take this. So we got all of our things, the last minute things like contact solution or contacts and glasses and retainers and those types of things. Got dressed and headed to the hospital. Mike called the labor and delivery and let them know that I was on the way and I was in labor and I was in a lot of pain. And they said they were sending down a wheelchair for me at the ER. So I walk into the ER and thankfully it was in the middle of the night. There was no traffic and it took us maybe like 15 minutes to get to the hospital. What was a long 15 minutes for me though. So anyway, I get to the ER and there's no wheelchair. So I'm sitting at the ER check-in and having contractions, waiting for my wheelchair because I could not walk up all the way to the labor and delivery. And the little ER check-in lady, it was so funny. I was like, I walk in the doors, I'm like, can you call the anesthesiologist? Like, get him ready, tell him I'm coming upstairs and to have the epidural ready for me. Like, I'm coming. He needs to be ready. And she was like, you don't need that, honey. You've got this. You don't need an epidural. You've got it. And then as I'm like having a contraction, like holding on for dear life. And I asked her, I was like, how many kids do you have? And she said she didn't have any. So I was like, you have no clue. Don't tell me that I don't need an epidural. Like, I'm in so much pain. After waiting for a little while, here comes my wheelchair. Get in the wheelchair, and the lady starts taking me up to labor and delivery, taking her sweet time. I'm in so much pain, and she's talking to people passing by in the hallway. And as we get upstairs, she's like, well, wait, where are we? I don't even know how to get there. I don't know how to get to labor and delivery. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? You're kidding me, right? I didn't say that. I just sat in silence, gripping onto the chair. But I internalized all of my remarks, my smart aleck comments. I internalized them all. I did not say them. I kept silent. But anyways, she finally found her way up to labor and delivery. And they quickly got me into a room. And this part's kind of a blur. I think things just started moving so fast that I don't fully remember everything at this point. I remember getting into a room. My contractions were so bad that I couldn't. They told me to strip down and put a gown on, but I was in so much pain. I couldn't get the robe on. I was just naked with a bra and laying in the bed. Thankfully, they did end up getting me a gown. They got a gown on me a little while later. I was naked for a while. But anyway, so they come in, they check me. I'm 8 centimeters dilated, and they said that I was bulging, which I guess means that my water is about to break. Like I really don't know what that means, but that's what it sounded like. Also, I know a lot of people think that the word moist is a gross word, but I think I have a word that beats that. The word bulging is such a nasty sounding word. When they said, oh yeah, you're 8 centimeters and you're bulging, I was like, ew, bulging? It said, I don't know, that just sounds disgusting to me. Anyway, so this whole time, I'm asking for an epidural, like, where's the anesthesiologist? Like, in between my contractions, when I was able to talk, I was like, where's the anesthesiologist? Like, can somebody get him up here? Like, tell him it's an emergency. Like, I need him now. And they were just like, well, there's procedures that we have to do before you get the epidural. You have to have this whole bag of fluid. We have to take your blood. We have to send it to the lab. Your labs have to come back. And then we can call the anesthesiologist to come up here. It might take him a while to set up. And if your water breaks, then you're not going to be able to get the epidural. And at this point, it seems like you're not going to be able to get it. And I was like, no. We're doing this. I cannot do this. I cannot push this baby out on my own. I need the epidural. So when that lady told me that, I wanted to, like, rage on everybody. But I kept it in. I held it together. I just kept asking. I was like, no, I need the epidural. I need you to call him. I need him to come up. Like, just get this bag of fluid. Push it in if you have to. I need it. So after a while, this lady's asking me all these questions. Like, have you been outside of the country in the past 6 months? Do you have family medical history of da-da-da-da-da? And all this stuff. Like, while I'm having contractions, which I know that's her job. That's what she needed to do. But I'm like, I cannot answer these right now. I want to die. I'm in so much pain. And so I just ignored her. She just kept asking me questions, and I didn't answer. I just was in my own world. And then finally, I'm watching that bag of fluid, like, drip, 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 drip. And I'm like watching. I was like, okay, the bag of fluid's almost done. Like, can we call him now? By the time he gets up here, it'll be done. Like, let's call him. And finally, the bag of fluid went through, and my blood work came back. And they called the anesthesiologist. They came up, and they got me the epidural. And then I was a happy girl. After that, everybody was so friendly. Everybody was so nice. I had a great time with the nurse that was asking me all the questions. I was like, ask away. I'll answer anything you want to know. But man, it was tough. So after I got the epidural, I was feeling good. My mom got to the hospital right on time. And once everything got kicked in, they checked me again. Oh no, they went to go break my water. And as they were about to break my water broke on its own. So that was kind of cool. In a previous video, I had said, like, I really want to know what it was like, or what it's like to, like, go into labor naturally, and, like, the hustle and bustle of it all. And I remember thinking, like, in the moment, why I was so naive. Why did I want to know what this was like? Now, on the other side of it, I'm glad that it happened the way that it did. But in the moment, I was like, I'm an idiot. My water broke. She went to go check me, and she was like, you're 10 centimeters. Let's try to push. And so we started pushing. It was all really, really fast. I pushed for 18 minutes, and this big boy came out. He weighed 9 pounds, 1 ounce, and he was 21 inches long. They said that if he was not so big, that I would have had him at home, or in the car, that just his size was hanging on. So thankfully I was able to make it to the hospital and get that epidural too. It's kind of scary to think about. With Riley, I was induced, and that whole labor from start to finish was 6 hours. With Brooks, from my very first contraction to the moment that he was on my chest was 4 hours and 28 minutes. So I feel like that was really fast. So if we are blessed with a third baby, I'm terrified of what is going to happen. And just the moment of relief of like, my baby's on my chest and he's breathing, he's crying, and just the emotions of it all was just so beautiful and so special. So I am so glad that he decided to come on his own without having to be induced. We've got a healthy big boy. Labor and delivery was so beautiful, so fast, and yeah, it was just such a beautiful experience. I'm so glad that Mike was well enough to be with me. If you haven't been following along, Mike and Riley had the flu the week before Brooks was born, and I say that that's why he was so big is because of all the prayers from you guys for him while they had the flu. We were praying hard that he would stay in, that we could get the flu virus out of our home and cleared out. And so I think that's where he gained all his extra weight, was that last week. So funny. Thankful that all of that was able to pass. We have a healthy boy. Got to bring him home to a clean home. But I think it was also so special that my mom was able to be there and get to witness the birth of her little boy. So that was the first grandchild that she got to see born. So it was really special. I am so happy to introduce my little sleepy Michael Brooks. See, he's so sleepy. But yeah, this is Brooks, my big boy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed our birth story. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you guys later. Bye. 9 pounds, 1 ounce, 21 inches long, born at... Okay, let's start that over.